Tomorrow on the Roy Green Show on the Corliss Radio Network, Marc Emery, the Prince of Pot, does his first live broadcast interview since being extradited to the United States to serve a 5-year prison sentence for selling marijuana seeds to the Americans, to American customers. And he will join us from his prison in Yazoo, Mississippi. It'll be very interesting to hear how Marc feels about the fact that he's in prison, got a 5-year sentence. Meanwhile, the prosecutor who took him to court and prosecuted him on behalf of the United States government is now saying the war on pot has been lost, the so-called war on drugs has been lost. Electorate of the state of Washington on November the 6th in the U.S. general election voted by majority to legalize marijuana, its sale and consumption. And from what I understand, there are 2 legislators on the East Coast, state legislators, who either are about to or have introduced, or at least are trying to introduce legislation which would legalize marijuana in their states. So we'll have the very first interview, live interview, broadcast interview with Marc Emery since he was extradited to the United States. He'll join us, as I said, from Yazoo City in Mississippi. With me now on the program is Marc's wife, Jodie Emery, and we've talked to Jodie a great deal on this program. And tomorrow, I'll start the show, the segment that will include Marc with Jodie, then we'll talk to Marc, and then Jodie will rejoin us. Jodie, this is the first time, good to have you back on the show. This is the first time that Marc will have done a live interview, broadcast interview, since the extradition, correct?
That's correct.
How do you both feel? I have to ask you this. How do you both feel, given the things that have happened over the last week and a half? And let's start with the state of Washington, the residents and the electorate there deciding that they want to see marijuana legalized.
Well, Marc and I think it's fantastic, and he did a lot of work to get the United States to this point. Back when Marc first started sending seeds to Americans in 1994, they didn't even have medical marijuana anywhere. But from that point onward, Marc sent millions of seeds and millions of dollars to activists, ballot initiatives, political campaigns, court challenges, send lots of money to people to fight these drug laws and implement saner drug policy. And we've seen so much progress on that front since Marc started sending them those seeds. So we're just thrilled with where the United States is headed. Of course, Canada is not so exciting these days. We're going pretty much backwards with Harper in charge.
What's the most important issue to Marc? As he thinks about doing the show with me tomorrow, what do you think is going to be the most important thing for him to get across?
Well, probably reminding people that the United States has wasted billions of dollars on enforcing cannabis, marijuana, and drug laws against their own people, and that millions of people have been arrested and sent to prison over marijuana laws, which is a great civil rights crisis that has gone across the United States, imprisoning mostly minorities. Marc can tell you that in the prison he's in, it's certainly made up mostly of Black Americans who have been imprisoned under these drug laws and the 3-strike laws and the mandatory minimum laws. So Marc has witnessed firsthand the personal devastation that comes from it. And I see it too when I go visit him, seeing these little babies and these little children go running up to their daddy screaming, "Daddy, Daddy," and that's their relationship with their father. He may not have heard anyone else, but they have to go into these concrete walls surrounded by barbed wire and cameras and prison guards and big sliding metal doors just to get their father's love and hug and kiss hello. So Marc sees the damage done on the human rights front, and that's really important to us, that first and foremost. Before we have a wonderful system of legalized marijuana distribution, we need to save people from being arrested and imprisoned. And I think for him, that's the most important reason why he's been involved in ending marijuana prohibition from the beginning.
The application of justice, the application of the laws, the anti-marijuana legislation, both in Canada and the United States, has been uneven at best. I've told you this, I haven't always agreed with you and with Marc, but I've always admired the fact that you've been courageous and you've stood your ground and you're continuing to do that. But when I look at how the laws have been applied, it has been less than sensible from people whose job it is to draft and pass pragmatic, sensible legislation. when the things happen, like, as you pointed out on a program here just a few weeks ago, was it one individual in the jail that Mark is in is doing life in prison, and he did what? He had a couple of ounces of marijuana. That was his most recent indictable crime, and now he's doing life?
Well, certainly with all the mandatory minimums and the repeat offender type laws, they'll punish people. I mean, there are individuals in prison for life simply because they stole something, and that was their third strike against some other crimes they've had, and that's costing billions of dollars. Putting all these people away every year costs hundreds of thousands per individual, and that's taxpayers' money. That's not government money. All government money is taxpayers' money, and the government is being paid by our money to spend our money, but they're wasting it, and they should be spending it more wisely. And Mark has seen certainly people in prison for very long sentences. I don't know how they continue to live without any hope of ever getting out, but they do make it there in prison somehow every day, day in and day out, away from
if the laws, Jodie, if the laws do change, and now we have the vote in the state of Washington and state legislators in Rhode Island and Maine announcing an effort to legalize recreational use of marijuana, if it all happens, if it all changes, and really politicians generally will wait for signals from voters, maybe they're getting those signals from voters now, if it all changes, I would have to say that they would have to have a look at these people who've been incarcerated under these specific marijuana laws and have a really hard look at the sentence and see if the sentence is then sustainable under changed legislation. I don't know how quickly things will change with marijuana, but I have a sense it will.
Well, absolutely. Anybody in prison right now for a nonviolent marijuana crime should be let go. A lot of people were upset that Washington State legalized it, and that was where Mark was indicted and sentenced. And they're saying, well, how can Mark still be in prison when the state that indicted him and sentenced him just legalized it? And definitely the law is very different in different ways. In the U.S., they have various sentences through different country or counties. They have different punishments. So it's never really quite evenly doled out, these punishments. There are people who are truly unjustly punished far more than others for drug offenses. And it's just unfair. And you can't have an unfairness in a justice system. It's supposed to be just. It's not supposed to be unfair.
No. Well, the former Assistant Attorney General for the state of Washington, coincidentally, told me years ago on this program, if you have a justice system that people don't trust and believe in, then you don't have a justice system. Jodie, I thank you so much for joining us today. So Mark will be on the show from Mississippi, from his prison, tomorrow here on The Roy Green Show. First live broadcast interview he will have done since being extradited, and you'll join us on that segment as well.
Yeah, it's going to be some part of history, that's for sure, having him speak to Canadians from the belly of the beast.
Thanks, Jodie. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Roy. Take care.
Bye-bye. Jodie Emery and her husband, Mark, tomorrow. It'll be the third hour. So many of you have sent emails and said, what hour is he going to be on? It'll be the third hour of the show. Jodie and Marc Emery will be with me on the Roy Green Show. They won't be able to be on together. Legislation or regulations and rules don't allow that. So I'll talk to Jodie, then I'll talk to Mark, and then I'll talk to Jodie. And there's going to be even worse. Now, tomorrow at this time, on the air with me will be Marc Emery. And, the Prince of Pot, who will be doing his very first live broadcast interview. He's given it to us since being extradited to the United States to serve a 5-year sentence for selling marijuana seeds to Americans. He's going to be joining us live from his prison in Yazoo, Mississippi. Now, the people of the state of Washington, just during the last election, federal election in the United States on the 6th of this month, voted to legalize and allow the sale and the consumption of marijuana. And there's Marc Emery in prison in Mississippi for 5 years. He's going to talk to us tomorrow. I sent that information to Catherine and Linda, and I think it took about 2 seconds for Linda to get back to me. What do you think, Linda?
Well, you know what, Roy? I'm going to be accused of smoking
No.
inhaling.
No, she's not a smoker or an inhaler.
No, I'm not. But, I look at this issue and I laugh. I mean, it's like I live in Brawny Harbor where the rum runners and prohibition and Al Capone tales, et cetera, et cetera. And I look at this like the newest prohibition. And it's absolutely ludicrous. And also to think that we are going to build more super jails to put some people in. Come on, I know guys on Bay Street. I know guys that wear three-piece outfits that smoke a little pot now and again. And we're going to throw them all in jail, Roy, when we've got, and I said that this really infuriates me. Now, some people will say, well, it's the beginning if you smoke pot to worse things, but there's worse things out there. And I think of the song, The Pusher Man, people with crystal meth and cocaine and in our schools trying to get our kids addicted. And then I think about all the white-collar crimesters who are out there that never go to jail. And this is an issue where some people use it for medicinal reasons. We have to take that in mind. But think about this. California, Arnold Schwarzenegger was looking at the same thing, legalizing it and maybe decriminalizing it. Like, you used to be criminal. You were criminal if you had a drink of beer. Well, anyway, California would not be bankrupt if they did legalize it. Now, come on. You know what? That's going to lead to high taxes like we have in Canada on booze and cigarettes and a little pot. But you know what? It is a resource. And let's go back to the 1930s when cotton and hemp, it was the two commodities that were fighting it out for the marketplace, and cotton won. And some people, like a suffragette called Anne Rand, wrote things like, if you smoke a little pot, you're going to kill somebody, or you're going to rape somebody, or worse yet, and I won't even say it because I don't want to get you in trouble on the show, Roy, but some of the ludicrous comments that came out of it. So I'm not saying, I'm all for everything in moderation, but you know what? This is prohibition at the height of it.
Yeah. Well, there would be, and we have law officials, senior law enforcement officials. We have public health officials. We have even the prosecutor, Marc Emery's prosecutor, who says the war on drugs was a failure and the prohibition should end. Catherine, the politicians have been playing games with marijuana issue forever. There is money to be made, significant billions of dollars that the state could take in and apply to the debt that exists. I'm not saying it's the solution to the fiscal ceiling, but it is something.
Well, first of all, we know that the so-called war on drugs, whatever that entails, spent a ton of money and did squat. If anything, things are probably worse, and I include all drugs there, not just any, pot or any particular type of drug. I think, people, legalization and decriminalization are two very, very different things.
Yes, they are.
And decriminalization, I think, is probably the palatable. If you only have a certain quantity, which of course is usually deemed for personal use or whatever, then you're not a criminal.
But you would still have to buy it. If you decriminalize it, you'd still be obliged to buy it from a very criminalized drug dealer.
Well, that is the problem. And the next step, as you were alluding to, would be to have some type of sanctioned, and we already do for so-called medical marijuana. And I've talked to doctors and I've talked to individuals, and if somebody really wants to smoke pot and wants to get medical marijuana, from what I understand, and personally I haven't tried it, so I can't vouch for it. I haven't tried medical marijuana, or tried to get it. I understand it's not too hard. So the whole notion that we're restricting this to a very, very small subset of cases, from everything I've seen, isn't true. So maybe in a weird kind of way, we've already embarked upon this whole notion of some sanctioned use of a certain contained amount, and maybe we should just suck it up and say, you know what, guys, is this any different than booze? Really?
Yeah. Let me take a break. We'll come back with Catherine Swift and Linda Leatherdale and your calls at 1-877-399-9898, 1-877-399-9898. Is it time to do away with the marijuana prohibition? Do you have questions about the fiscal cliff? And then I'll tell you the story about the firing of 18,500 people, one company. We'll come back. Catherine Swift, Chair of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, Linda Leatherdale, Vice President of Cambria, Canada, and independent business journalist at lindaleatherdale.com, with me on The Roy Green Show on the Chorus Radio Network. We do this every Saturday in the third hour of the show, and it's the money segment. We talk about stuff that relates to money. And money has a way of coming from all sorts of places and disappearing into all sorts of pockets that it shouldn't disappear into. But nobody goes to jail. At least nobody went to jail who caused the problem that the world is dealing with now. Unless I missed something over the last few days. Nobody's been to. No, I don't think so. No one's been sent to any of the new super jails that are being built. Chris is in Langley, British Columbia. Hey, Chris.
Hey, it's definitely a moneymaker here, and we should be taking on the rewards of it. I just want to put a few myths to rest. I don't know if you remember last few weeks there was an officer going around saying that it would be the worst thing BC could do would be to legalize it, because you're not going to get rid of crime and the criminals, which, I might agree with. And then the other one is that kids will start smoking on a more regular basis. First off, the criminal activity in BC here depend on the weed as their asset to get other things such as cocaine, heroin, and guns from other places. They want our weed. So you take that away, you're hurting them anyway. You may not get rid of them, but they may have to go get a job to buy that cocaine now. Secondly, kids have a tougher time. When I went to school, it's so easy to get marijuana. Kids already think it's not that big of a deal. And furthermore, for me to get alcohol as a kid, or a kid to get alcohol, he has to go stand and actually get an adult to go into the store, stand outside a liquor store and try to get him to buy it, or get a brother or a mother or dad, whatever, to be involved in them drinking. So there's more likelihood that they're going to get stopped by a responsible adult, hopefully. I mean, they may still smoke, but I think a lot less is my point.
So it's easier for them to get marijuana than it is for them to get alcohol.
Absolutely.
I've said this before, Chris, and I know Catherine and Linda have heard this, but I had a paramedic in my studio in Hamilton when I broadcast there for many, many years at CHML Radio. And I had a paramedic in the studio, and he said, if you want to find out where the drug dealers are, I don't know what happened to Chris, he's gone. Anyway, he said, if you want to find out where the drug dealers are, ask any kid, Catherine, Linda, said, ask any kid in grade 3 or grade 4. They'll point them out to you because they're hanging around the schools.
Oh, boy. Well, that's disturbing, but it doesn't shock me terribly, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anyway.
I think the real thing with the whole marijuana, I mean, booze, I guess, has been around for such a long time. Even though we know it has all kinds of downsides, it's accepted. And, of course, marijuana, I suppose, has more taboos, even though I don't think it does anything worse than booze does, if abused and so on and so forth. But I think you still have a bit of a sort of puritanical opposition to it.
Yeah. We'll have Marc Emery on the show tomorrow, along with his wife, Jodie. On the Roy Green Show on the Corus Radio Network. Just a reminder that tomorrow on the program, doing his first live broadcast interview, will be Marc Emery. And he'll join us from the U.S. prison in Yazoo, Mississippi, where he's incarcerated after pleading guilty to a charge and mailing marijuana seeds to customers in the United States. Pled guilty, got a 5-year prison sentence. The prosecutor, the U.S. prosecutor who handled the case, has now said that the war on drugs and on marijuana is a failure. Public health officials are saying the same thing. Senior law enforcement officials, also saying that. And the people of the state of Washington on the 6th of November in the U.S. federal election on an Initiative 502 voted by a majority to legalize the sale and consumption of marijuana. So Marc Emery is going to be joining us tomorrow on this program, and it'll be his first broadcast interview, since being extradited to the United States. You'll want to hear that. And we will give you an opportunity to speak. I can't give you any time to speak to Marc Emery. They allow us a maximum of 15 minutes, regulations. But we will be taking calls after we speak to Marc. We'll also be speaking with his wife, Jodie. She will join us on that segment as well.